Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Honkai Two Feathers, and I welcome you with the love and the honor from the great Creator. When I offer my honor and blessings to you every single time. Thank you very much. And so I'm doing a little quick video today. I have been camping on the river for a couple of days and spending some outdoor time in the nature and listening to the spirits and creator, um, kind of sort of rejuvenate myself, if you will. Kind of been stuck at home too much. But anyway, so I'm gone for 2 days, and I come back and I started looking through the headlines and so forth. And here we are again. I expected myself to be dead by now. With all this apocalyptic stuff and everything. Now there's some really nasty stuff going on. Hey, Breaking Dawn, blessings to you today. But there is a big flood in the middle of the country right now, Nebraska and Wisconsin, Iowa, and I want to send my prayers to those people who are suffering with that. Not only is it water, but it's really cold water, and having my backyard flood uh, sort of regularly around here, I'm used to flood waters where a lot of people are not. And so I really feel bad for these people. I do. But here's the thing, the people who are talking about that it's apocalyptic and that it's the end of the world. And here we go again. It's some more climate change. And, I would say that the climate change is done by all the chemtrails I continue to see in the sky and the crazy weather that none of us can seem to like. Well, last week it was the middle 80s here. Now the temperature is like 72 degrees outside and still cloudy. It's been cloudy for days now. And so it's like, this ain't normal for whatever reason. But do I believe in the global warming thing? No. But anyway, back to the main topic. I'm looking around and everybody is like, well, there's another asteroid coming. Oh, and this one's really going to get us. And now there's this going on, and Russia just launched a something or other. And and the nation of India, the country of India, has launched aircraft carriers and a nuclear submarine. Oh my God! Oh, look at all the fear, porn. Oh man. I was gone for 2 days, and I'm looking through this stuff, and I'm thinking, aren't we all supposed to be dead by now? Weren't there people a couple of years ago that said, we're all going to die? Yeah, there's earth changes here. Yeah, there's things going on. But, and, and I want to say very calmly and very matter of factly, yes, there are people who are dying. I know that. I send my prayers out to the universe for these folk, but let's get things right. For example, some of the headlines I saw today: massive attack. Massive. Okay. Now, massive, when I see that word, I think massive, 100, 2, 3, 400 people. Massive. Now, to the point, 3 people died and 9 were injured. And I'm praying for those folks and sending out good vibes to them and their families. But my point to this is 3 plus 9 is what? 10, 11, 12, 12, 12. How is that massive? Now, it's still wrong. It's still bad. But my point is, people are using these words against us. It's massive. No, there were 12 people, but that was massive. No, massive should have been hundreds. And I don't mean that hundreds of people should be killed. Not my point. It's the use of the words. Now, if you're going to report on a shooting, then just say 3 people were, killed, 9 people injured. Just leave it at that. Was it massive? Some folks are using words, and that is helping to create the chaos that the bad guys really want. Bad girls, bad people, bad spirits, bad guys. So anytime we use descriptive words like massive, huge, hello, Michelle. Yeah, I got that right. My questioning is, we should tell these people, Can you use another word? Was that really a massive attack? 12 people. Now, again, I'm saying any loss of life, any shooting or anything is horrendous. But my point to these people who are trying to report this to us, they're adding to the AI's system. When they use massive, it sends a message that linguistics, absolutely. And I've been talking about this for quite a long time about our usage of words. But people are starting to use the everything now is apocalyptic. And I'm like, but it's not. It's really bad. I mean, when I went to the river the other day on the way, it's 33 miles, which is strange in itself, to the Flint River from my house. And it's almost a straight shot due west. And so on along the way, I'm remembering that wow, there are a lot of trees down. And then I thought I haven't been this way since the hurricane last year. And oh my God, the devastation. I mean, trees down everywhere and barns and front porches and houses and like what? And so, and even where I normally camp, where I did camp, a lot of the trees around there were just a bunch of them were just gone. And well, I say gone, they're down in all directions, all over the place. Where there was a nice little forested area, half of the trees are gone, and that's from the hurricane. Now, I consider that very devastating, and so did the people who planted the trees and so forth. But my point to this is it was not apocalyptic. It was a really nasty hurricane, one of the worst I've ever been in, but it was not apocalyptic. Okay. I don't use those terms. And other people, oh, it was massive. You could bet your bottom dollar. But, our choice of words, and we should ask other people, how do we fix this problem? By going to folks and say, is it really necessary that you use that kind of language? Just asking, just and politely. I'm not saying you should go beat up on somebody or troll somebody, but couldn't you say, ask them kindly, do you need to use those kinds of words? Is it important for you to use apocalyptic every time? Now, I could throw a couple of names out there that do YouTube channels, and every time I turn around, it's apocalyptic again. It's another massive something. And I'm sorry, 10 people does not, in my opinion, consist of massive. Yes, people were hurt, people injured, people died. I'm very sorry about that. But in that's not a massive incident. And so I want us all to remind ourselves when you look at these things, when you look at the headlines, what is it triggering you to do? Massive, I'm thinking hundreds, thousands. I'm thinking a whole town is gone, not 12 people. Now, again, I'm saying those 12 people, it's very important. But was it massive? We need to make sure that the words we choose to use are appropriate for what we're trying to describe. There was an incident. Was it large? Well, there were 12 people. But is that a large event? What is large? Look up the word large. Large would mean like, I don't know, 20, 30 people. Now, there may have been a large event, but was the incident itself large? Now, I know I'm picking and poking my finger in places, but people are not using descriptive words properly. And I think this is my humble opinion, in my humble opinion, M-I-M-O, humble opinion, yeah, H-O, M-I-M-H-O, there we go. Um, but in my humble opinion, I'm thinking that people are, I don't know if it's so much for clickbait, is that our society and our language is changing in such a manner is that people think that 12 people is a massive attack and that they use the word massive because they think that it's really big. Well, back in the day, a massive attack to me, was 10,000 people in the town died in bombing. That's massive, not 12 people. Now, again, I'm still saying that it's horrible regardless. But our usage of adjectives and adverbs and so forth in our current society And I know I keep harping on this, but we got to keep ourselves away from the headlines because, I mean, just reading the headlines, I'm thinking massive. And then my brain went off massive. Oh, it's this. And, and my response internally was, oh my God, it's massive. 3 dead, 9 injured. But wait a minute, where did the massive come in? I still think it's horrible. I still feel for those involved. But again, I want to go back to the word, but was it massive? Is it massive? So we need to tell other people that we know, hey, be careful with the words you use. If you're writing about a particular thing or you want to report on a particular thing, use appropriate language. Discuss what has actually happened. There were 3 people killed and 9 wounded. Is that massive? It's tragedy. It's tragic. And that's an absolute word you should use. That is a tragedy. But is it apocalyptic? Is it earth shattering? Did the planet blow up? Are we all dead yet? That's my point. Now, I wish to say that there are a lot of people with very good intentions, and it's these people who have been caught up in the stream of things. Now that they are reporters, they must report like the big guys do. Well, the big guys are filling us full of lies. So why would you want to copy somebody else's format? Massive, apocalyptic. Wouldn't you want to look in the dictionary and try to find another word to describe it rather than using the same damn word over and 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 over? I'm crazy. But you see my point. It literally drives us nuts with what they're doing. And I say what they're doing. They have put these things out so that massive means 9 or 12 people. Mass apocalyptic is a tornado. Now, listen, I've had 2 tornadoes. I'm seriously go straight over my house since I've lived here. Tore my neighbor's barn up twice and minor damage to my house. Straight over my house. Tore trees down in the back and skipped over me. I'm a very lucky person. My neighbors, not so much. They've had to rebuild their barn twice. And after this last hurricane that a tornado went over, it destroyed their barn again. That happened with Hurricane Kate back in the mid 80s, 85, 6, somewhere in there. But anyway, to the point though, so I know what a tornado is. I know what damage is. I know what it's like to be without electricity for weeks, because a storm has passed through, and I moved out of Florida to get away from that mess and moved up here to Georgia. And dang, if it hadn't been just as bad or worse. But my point about it is that none of it has been apocalyptic. That's my point. It's all been really tragic. It's been some really nasty conditions, but it has never been apocalyptic. Scared the bejeebers out of me, that last hurricane, let me tell you. And to hear another tornado fly over the top of my house with debris and trees and stuff on the way. Not the kind of thing I naturally signed up for. So I just want to bring this out to you folks. I love you all. I do. And I'm going to have I'm going to do another video about my trip to the river and some of the things that I saw, witnessed. It was really interesting, let me tell you. And the subject's going to be about cities in the skies. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that right now, but just to give you a little bit of teaser. And it was really strange, let me tell you. I've been pondering it before I can talk about it because this is something that was so strange. I really need to kind of like think on a little bit. But anyway, back to the subject of about this, are we dead yet? Now, the biggest thing that we can do, and I want to reiterate this always, 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 is that as long as we are prepared for the next life, we are always prepared. Regardless of what happens in this life, I'm here to tell you, this life isn't near as important as what happens when we leave this one. Okay? It just isn't. Now, it's important that we do the right things in this life so when we make the transition, it's all going to be much better. Excuse me, I was a little off to the side, wasn't it? But I think that each one of us should be careful in how we choose our words. And report on what is wrong, but be careful with the words you choose. That's all. Because are you trying to bring in fear porn? Like I think some of these people, they say they're not, but at the same time, they continue to use massive, apocalyptic, earth shattering, we're all going to die again, another asteroid. I mean, like, here we go again. Listen, we live in the universe. There's crap out there flying around all over the place. The fact that we haven't been hit by now, I've seen some massive things in my lifetime come into the atmosphere, and thank goodness they burned up before they hit. But to the point, though, we're not dead yet. Is another asteroid coming? Yeah. But why are they all of a sudden, here we go again? More panic, more stuff in the universe. Oh my God. And people are saying that this, let's see, this is Monday, Sunday, Saturday, when we had that whiteout on the Schumann resonance. Folks are trying to saying to everybody that that's the event. That's it, folks. That was it. We told you it was coming. And I want to warn you all, that's only part of it. It's just the leading edge of the heavy stuff. We are in the event, but that whiteout the other day on the Schumann resonance, that was not the event. Because if you look on today, a few hours later, we had another heavy duty, not near as strong. But if that was it, then wouldn't the rest of the Schumann resonance have changed? And folks are talking about, well, we're on the early stages of the fourth. I can't wait to get to the fifth. What? You don't even understand what the fourth dimension is, and you're telling people, well, we're already in the beginnings of the fourth, and when we get to the fifth, it's like you're barely out a third if you're lucky. And you're trying to tell people, let's look for the fifth dimension. No. Calm down, y'all. We got 4 different stages of 4D. We got a long way to go. We got the wading pool. We're going to learn how to swim. Then we're going to go into the deep end. And then they're going to teach us how to jump off the diving board. No, we got a long way to go. Is the event in progress? Oh, yeah. Was the other day the whiteout on the Schumann resonance a big deal? Oh, yeah, big deal. And it's been going sideways, which a lot of folks have been discussing. When we start seeing the Schumann resonance literally go sideways, that we are seriously in the event now. And I firmly believe that. But please, please, please don't get caught up in the wash that was the event or is the event, and that everything's like already done. Oh no, that's just to prove to people we're here. Pay attention. There's going to be a few more whiteouts. There's going to be a few more sideways energy waves that hit the planet and affect the planet. And well, the sun, well, that did it. No, it didn't. We're still here. We're not dead yet. And we still have more of this to come. I've noticed that, there's been 2 earthquakes in Alabama and 1 in Florida, and that was near Pensacola. And you got to just scratch your head and go, huh? There's also been several earthquakes up the East Coast, been several on the eastern Tennessee side. There's been a couple in northwestern Georgia and northeastern Alabama up in there around Chattanooga. There are many that are popping up in eastern Tennessee on a weekly basis. There's some up in Maine, just above Maine, Nova Scotia. There's a lot of earth activity going on, ladies and gentlemen. And in my previous videos, I've described this energy is expanding the earth like a baked potato in a microwave. It's the simplest way to explain it. Understand that if you live near a river or around a river, check your dadgum. What is your elevation? Check your elevation. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could be 2 miles for the river, but if your elevation is only 1 foot above the river level, then if a big rain comes, you're going to get wet. You're going to get soaked. They call it the flood area, the flood zone, the flood whatever, right? floodplain. But some people say, well, I don't know what to do. You can check your elevation. You can check how high you are above sea level in regards to where the water level is nearest you, a lake, a dam, or whatever. If you live downstream from a dam, then you're going to be in constant jeopardy because there is any number of things that could break that dam. Not to say that it is, but as soon as you live downstream from a dam, you automatically put yourself in danger. So what if you thought, well, wait a minute, that dam is ever going to fail, blah, blah, blah. But what if it does? Well, then you just put yourself in jeopardy. So there are things that you can do if you know you live somewhere, regardless of the condition, but that if a catastrophe came, your rear end would be grass, then you should do something about it. I moved out of Florida and moved up here into Tornado Alley. It's even worse up here than it was in Tampa. But I live in the country now, whereas where I grew up in Tampa, it's no longer country. It's all homes. So it's just nothing but suburbs. And I would have moved out of there anyway. But my point being to this with the everything is catastrophic. Now, understand this. When I had years ago, when I lived down in Florida, there was a hurricane and many tornadoes went through, and there were people literally right across the street from me that their trailers were wiped out. And there was debris in my front yard. Our lights were out for days. And I moved to Georgia right after that. But with that said, I know what the devastation is, and I understand it clearly. And when you look out your front door and what used to be there a few hours earlier, and then dawn comes up and you look over there and you see the devastation, you see the catastrophic event that a tornado can produce. That's the correct use of that word. It is catastrophic. It's not Armageddon. It's not apocalyptic. It's not, well, in that case, it was massive, but a whole trailer park was gone. Thank God most of the people were out. I don't know if anybody died from that, but to the point, it was gone. Just nothing but waste paper and pieces of litter. It's unbelievable. So I understand these things, but let's use the correct terminology. And if you support a channel and they keep using these same words and they respect you as a person and in the chat room, then I suggest ask them nicely. Must you keep using this verbiage? Do you understand that every time you use the word apocalyptic, you're adding to the cabal's dream? Because every time you use massive when it only means 12 people, that you're overstating the situation, that you are actually becoming part of the problem yourself, when actually what these people, I think in my heart, are actually trying to keep us informed. But because of society, because of phraseology and terminology, people are using words out of context. Report on it. Tell it like it is. But 12 people is not a massive thing. Okay, that's all. It is still tragic. A tornado is still catastrophic, but is it apocalyptic? And besides that, if you listen to my video about that, apocalyptic means the lifting of the veil. It doesn't mean the end of the world. So even these pastors and priests and so forth who are using this word, and I got somebody in mind, but I'm not going to say his name, but it's every 3 or 4 days something apocalyptic has happened again, or massive, or now anyone who dies in a shooting or something like that, that can be catastrophic in their own life. But is it a catastrophe? Okay, a catastrophe would be like a tornado wiping out a town. It would be a personal catastrophe if someone was shot, killed, murdered, run over. But so if you stipulate it's a personal tragedy, a personal catastrophe versus a society type of tragedy or catastrophe. Anyway, those are just some examples. But understand this. You and I each have the opportunity to help change this. And simply by stating what it is and not trying to go overboard with use the overuse of these words when they're not being used correctly to begin with is the biggest point. I mean, massive is not 12. Massive is a bunch of folk. A bunch. That's massive. So we need to use the terminology properly. Now, I went to Catholic school, and I thank them for their education. And I see people who graduate actually 2 years of college who still don't have a vocabulary. They misuse words, they mispronounce them, and I think that the educational system of America has plummeted to good day, Melanie. Um, I think the educational system in our United States in the last 20 plus years has just gone south of the border. I mean, there are, and I mean this properly, there are many Mexicans who are a lot smarter than Americans. They figured out how to get up here. They figured out how to beat the system. But there are people who live here, grew up here, who don't have a lick of sense to get themselves out of a Coke bottle. You know, I mean, it's like, what? Fight your way out of a wet paper bag, as the old saying went. But with that said, though, there are these people who think they know what they're talking about when they actually don't. And they're trying, their effort is good, but they're copying other people's rhetoric when these other people are using it against us. So they go, well, NBC News used apocalyptic. I'm going to use it. That must be correct. No, it's wrong. Well, somebody over here, they've got 1 million viewers. They use the word, so I'm going to use it. And that must make it right. No, it doesn't. So there's a lot of these things. It's a copycat thing. So the more people who are reporting on things, the more people are stealing words out of context. Is it important? Oh, yes. To the universe, if you use words improperly, I'm not going to say they're going to kill you, but they're going to zap you with it. Don't do that. You wrong impression here. And so it's like, so pay attention. If you're going to write something, write it correctly. Don't try to go overboard. If you want to discuss something, then discuss it. You want to report on something, report on it. But don't try and look up the word apocalyptic before you use it in a sentence. Please, a little bit of slight humor here, but at the same point, through the headlines again, is all this. Oh, and the asteroid. There are always asteroids out there that could hit us. So this is nothing new. Quit, stay out of the fear, y'all. They're trying to drag us in again. Once a week or so, I do these videos, but to bring up the point that it's our choice. And if we ask these people kindly, can you use another word than Armageddon every damn time or apocalyptic every time? Must you use those words every time? And ask them to please look the word up in the dictionary. WikiLeaks is only a few set words away. You can type in WIKI and it'll take you right there. So, so it's not like people can't find out. They choose not to. And in this day and time, in my humble opinion, IMHO, that these people who will only go as far as somebody else's headlines to copy it, then they're part of the disservice going on to all these people who are trying to keep us in this fear porn area and to keep our emotions up. And look at me, I'm all hyper today because these people keep using these words. And I'm like, oh, stop it, please. Report it. Excuse me. Report it. Be truthful. Be honest. Be sincere. But stay in your realm of speech. If you don't know what a word means, look it up. If you don't know how to look it up, ask somebody. I'm sure there's a video out there that will teach you how to use a dictionary. And there are lots of them online. Wikipedia is just a couple of 4 keystrokes away. Boom, and you're there. And so, anyway, I want to send out love to you all. Thank you very much. I know that there's a lot of turmoil going on this planet. Many of us have our own personal catastrophes and situations and so forth. I do understand that. But these people who continue to draw us in, quite frankly, when if they have something like that in their title, I don't like their video. I might not even watch it because here they're trying to draw me into some kind of fear porn thing. And I don't want that. And I respect these people. But at the same time, if I continue to support them every time they use these things to draw my attention in, then I'm playing they're part of the game then. I'm just nothing more than clickbait. I'm not a subscriber, I'm a clickbait person. I'm something that's going to keep their channel alive. But if you keep using these kinds of words and things, then I'm sorry, then I don't support you. And that's not to be rude. I'm just saying. I don't go to Walmart. I don't support them. I support their other stores and so forth. So in that, I make my own choice. And I don't try to beat these people up. I don't use anybody's name. That's not the point. But we vote every time we choose to look at something, like a video, not like a video. And I'm not saying that we should be nasty trolls. I'm just saying we should let folks know. Please stop using those words when you don't know what it means. That's all. Please, you people who are good-hearted have become part of the problem. Unbeknownst to you, they snuck in the back of your brain and got you to do these things. And now you, even though you're trying to say you're not part of the problem, you are. And that's a shame because we need to stand up straight. We need to continue to be ourselves. We need to continue to keep our core values because regardless of what happens to us, when we go into the next realm, this is going to be important. How your vibration is when you leave this 3D, when you leave this realm and go to the next, it's real important. So in that sense, what we do every day is important. But at the end of the day, we're all going to die and pass on anyway. So accumulating wealth, accumulating this, I mean, there are things that I accumulated, and the people that I accumulated it for don't want it. So how about that one? So in my life, the things that I thought I was doing for other people, they don't want it. So it's like, so why did I waste my time in working for them, thinking, well, my grandchildren and my grandson and my this, and they don't even want to come see me. So I spend all that time working for my grandchildren to have a place to live when they don't even want to come. They don't even want to email me. What? But so all my thought of having a place for my children, grandchildren to have a plot of land so they would never get thrown off from renting because most of my relatives rent. And it's like, I own this place. Just keep the taxes up, and you'll always have a place to stay. And they don't want it. So I worked all my lifetime for a false goal, thinking, well, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this and nobody wants it. I mean, I'm still here. It's still paid for. And that's good because now I don't have to pay rent. Nobody's going to throw me off. But to the point, though, my intention early on didn't work out. Now, if I die, they might say, well, grandpa died and he's got his land. And I don't know, maybe I should go visit it or whatever. They probably would just let it rot and they'd sell it for taxes. So my point of what I thought was right ain't right. It don't fit in this paradigm. Things change. Other people have changed. The society has changed. So in that respect, everything that I thought I was achieving that had a backdoor goal, if you will, was to give my grandchildren a place to come, stay, blah, blah, blah. And they don't even care. So there are many people who have these kinds of ambitions for other parties, their children, their grandchildren, but the grandchildren in the family, that's not what they want. They've got their own mind. So my point to this in summing this up is that for every time we think we know what we're doing, the rest of the world has its own point of view. So all of the things we think we're accumulating for whatever reason it is, when we're gone, never works out the way that it was intended because of the people. Well, I don't, Grandpa said this was always for me, and I don't give a crap about Georgia. You know, okay, all right. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. So, so for all those things we subscribe to that we think that are important in this life, in the physical and the tangible of accumulation of stuff, what does it do you and me when we've accumulated all these physical things for when we pass on to the next realm? Has it done us a dime's worth of good? No. Now, in some native traditions, depending on the tribe, but if and I'm kind of in this same vein. I'm giving things away that I'm like, I didn't think I'd ever give that away, but here you go. And I don't, because I don't see the value in me hoarding any. I've got enough crap in my house that I've hoarded for the last 40 years. I don't need anything else. If something breaks and I got to go buy a new one, okay. But for as far as I want to accumulate more crap, nah, no, I'm actually trying to figure out ways to get rid of some of this stuff now because I realize, well, wait a minute, I can't take any of this with me. And what I thought was going to happen, now my daughter can have my crystals and rocks and things because she's very much into the Native American side of her heritage. And I applaud that. And so, she's going to get my books and things because she can use them and she wants them versus anybody else in my family or all of my, nah, nobody gives a crap. That's just the way it is. So my reasons aren't what the reasons are after I'm gone. What's more important to me is what is my vibration like when I leave this planet? What is my own internal guide saying? What is my own energy going to do? Am I going to make this transition or am I going to get kicked out and back to the wading pool? And have I learned enough to even like just sit in the water, or do I have to sit on the bank and twiddle my feet in the pool? And as far as 4D is concerned, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter as long as I can make the transition. That's what I'm not worried about it. But that's my goal. I simply want to make the transition. I don't want a bumpy road. If it is, well, okay, but I want to be as prepared from this life to the next. So whatever happens with the event, I'm bringing all of this around kind of sort of. The event that happened 2 days ago with that whiteout on the Schumann resonance, that's just part of it. That's just a good show. That's to get everybody's attention, if you will. There's a lot more coming because otherwise Mother Earth, the planet, is changing her entire frequency. And when you see the frequency of the planet rise and stay there, that will be more of we've made it. Okay. Understand that the worst of the use of the word apocalypse is mostly wrong by 99.9% of the people using it. Understand that. Look it up for yourself, please. But also understand that what you think you're doing right in this world, when you actually stop and remove yourself, like I went to the river for a night and day kind of thing, and floated on the flooded Flint and paddled around, got wet. It really cold water, but that's okay. Camped out, saw some things, took pictures of some orbs and spirits in that area, and came home with a wow. I mean, I live in the woods. I got woods all around me, but going to a river with all that much water and the energy, that was powerful for me, and I needed that. But with that said, though, what it showed me also was like even the stuff that I'm a minimalist at best in that I don't need much to survive. But I realized that even I got too much. I drug too much crap with me to go camping. I drug too much with me to go get in my kayak. I was like, I've had this issue for a long time, and it's a personal one. It's sort of like hoarding, if you will. But with that, I realized even in my own self with like trying to be a minimalist, I was still too confused with worldly stuff. when all I really need is a pocket knife, a long sleeve shirt, and some water and something, and go. That's what I used to do. But anyway, so I want to send out my love to all of you. I do. I do. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Breaking Dawn, Michelle, and Melanie. Always, Melanie. Wait, did I get this right? Oh man, I'm going to mess up. Or unveiling. Yes, absolutely. Chills, chills, something in 4D in 4 stages. Yeah, 4 stages. Yeah. And for some people, there may only be 3, but the basic thing is that first we have to get there, which is sort of an orientation. And some folks might be able to leave orientation quicker than other folks. That's the waiting pool, in my opinion. So, some people might actually only experience 3 major um, stages, but that's just the way it is. You got to go up the ladder. But folks who think they're going to get their feet wet in the 4th and then automatically pop into the 5th, it's not happening. It's physically not applicable. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. Okay. It's just in the universe, you don't do that. And so folks are trying to brainwash you into thinking, well, we're going to get our feet wet in the 4th and automatically be. No, it's going to take a while to get to the 5th. Be happy. We're leaving 3rd. But so I have issues with people who are projecting this 5th dimensional stuff already. Let's go for 4th dimension phase 2. Let's go for 4th dimension phase 3 or phase 4. And come on. Oh, no, no, no. We're feet wet 5th dimension. I have to be the grown up in the room and say, I don't think that's right. In fact, I know it's not right. Because it's not physically possible. We have to experience the degrees of things. I mean, you can learn things and maybe skip a grade, but you ain't going to the fifth dimension until you have mastered the 4th. It just isn't going to happen. And I don't mean to shout on anybody's parade. We're all going to get there, but it's not going to be like some of these people are already trying to profess. But we're not even out of the 3rd yet, and they're talking about we're going into the 5th. I'm sorry, can't go there yet. So be at peace, you all. Be careful with what these people are trying to shove down your throats with the use of words and this magical thing. Oh, we're all going to the 5th. Yes, that's true, but not right away. It's going to take a while, years. Okay. This ain't going to be a trip around the planet, around the solar system once, meaning a year, and that we're all going to be automatically in the 5th dimension. That is not going to happen. Okay. It takes more time than that. It takes more patience. It takes more understanding. And these people who are trying to promote the 5th dimension already are going to have to take 10 steps back because they've already assumed too much in their own roles. Well, the 5th dimension is just the 5th dimension. Hang on. I don't know what spirits are talking to them, but the ones that are talking to me and my friends and so forth, we know that 5th dimension is achievable. We also know it ain't now, it's future time. The 5th dimension is future time. It's a ways off. And for these folks to be talking about 4th and then the 5th automatic, please. Oh, no, 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 no. But let's be very happy about the 4th dimension. Yay! That's what I say. So I leave you with love and honor and the prayers always. And Melanie and Michelle, I can't remember which of you has the little tornado, but blessings to you and thank you always. I'm hoping that things go well with your toddler, because I know how holy terrors can be. I probably was one as a child. But anyway, So I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue on with your core values. Continue to spread it to all, and understand that we do have a choice in this. If you're in a chat room somewhere, just suggest. Is that an appropriate word? Just don't even go into, unless somebody asks. But, be nice. I know you all are nice people. Thank you very much. And I love you much. I do. So with that, I'm going to end with the prayer. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive the healings from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations will continue to receive and accept and receive and accept the blessings, the knowledge, and the healing from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all will continue to hear the healing and the wisdom and the knowledge from the great creator and from the universe, and that you may spread those simple words to them. I thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a great week. This is Monday afternoon, July. It's July already. No, it's March 18th. Anyway, and happy belated St. Patrick's Day. Gotta go feed chickens and the cats. See if I got any eggs today, and go outside and do a bit of gardening. I going to the river the other day dang near killed me. So I'm trying to get back on my feet. I couldn't walk for a day and a half. But anyway, that's for another time. I love you all. Be kind, be safe, be wary, and always be in your heart with compassion. So TTF from here, TTFN, Ta Ta for Dow from South Georgia. Cosmic hugs, everybody. Bye bye.